Can you tell the truth? It's a fantastically timed button I got from the Museum of Australian Democracy back in March of 2020, and I absolutely hate it. It's always judging me, asking me if I'm being honest with myself, and to be fair, most of the time I'm not, which is probably the real reason I don't like it. But I suppose that's the human experience, isn't it? We tend to think we can trust ourselves more than anything, that we're safe in here, if not out there. But nothing could be further from the truth. Now could it? This thing lies. It deceives, twists, falsifies. Do you believe it when you look in the mirror and it tells you you're everything less than you ought to be? And when it adores anxiety, cultivating the perfect cesspool of abounding nervosity when you horrifically notice that all the self-checkout lanes are closed. But it goes further than that, doesn't it? Because only you know just how many unsavory and appalling thoughts run through it every day. And how can we ever even begin to trust ourselves when we feel like our own brain isn't even capable of being honest with us? If we're to remain these scandalous excuses for life called human beings, then we must accept that we contain from the outset an indomitable fault. We lie to everything, everyone, even ourselves. And far more unnerving, it's not even always a bad thing. How many impossible impediments have we surmounted purely on the back of human hubris? Repeated mantric lies praising our abilities, our importance, our preordained portentous place in the sun. And all at the same time, our inability to face reality can often be the imminent reason for our undoing. How many impediments went unsurmounted because we were too proud to ask for help? How many lovers did the winds take simply because we falsely believed that we didn't have it in us to make that last, tender move? See, this is where it gets so complicated, because so much of success is really just confidence. Fake it till you make it. But like two sides of the same coin, how much of that initial confidence is really just a lie? There's a reason we call it a con, a confidence trick. With enough belief in yourself, you can establish an initial beachhead for any venture. But if you repeat the mantra, the lie, enough, you begin to wholeheartedly believe it yourself. It becomes what you might permit me to call effective truth. Now, that's not to say there aren't natural truths, facts that are irrefutable. There most certainly are. No matter how much a brain convinces itself that it can flap its arms and fly, gravity will always get the last word. But as we quickly dissolve the few remaining links between the horrifically harsh daily lives of our ancestors and those of our contemporaneously cushy selves, it appears to me that we may be quickly, quietly evolving into effective neo-humans, increasingly less concerned with the true state of the world and content to construct fantasy versions of it. And this is where things get so unnerving, because it now takes effort to care. It is entirely possible, and potentially even encouraged, depending on your particular degree of conspiratorialism, for us to content ourselves with the simplistic pleasures of our own fabricated micro-worlds in perpetuity. You don't have to deal with the things that make you uncomfortable, those social, political, geographic, or personal problems that cause feelings of despair or hopelessness. The lie that it doesn't affect you in any noticeable way is enough to shape the belief that action is no longer necessary. We seem to be sleepwalking ourselves into the cascadence of our collective consequence. And I am the first to be called out for such nocturnal ignorance. So much of my own life is just a repetitive series of motions designed to induce a succession of desirable emotional states which propel me far away from that series of sealed boxes stored deep within the recesses of my bicameral mind, never to be opened I'd maintain that I've even made escapism a veritable art form at this point. But even moi must contend with that inevitable reckoning which will come if we don't wake up to the reality around us. Which brings me back to that question I asked at the start. Can you tell the truth? And when I think about that question now, I notice that it doesn't contain a word I've been assuming it did for the last 4 chaotic years. It doesn't say always. Can I tell the truth always? No, I cannot. But can I tell the truth? You don't have to open every box all at the same time. No one's asking you to solve every problem of your own life or all the problems of the world in a single day. One item out of that box is enough at a time. And trust me when I say, you have it in you to do it, to be free of that weight. But we must start clearing out the storage space in our mind, because we can never even begin to start solving planet-wide problems if we don't start dealing with the personal ones that cascaded together to cause them. However, these, as always, are just the ramblings of a prodigiously tired little boy with an entirely overinflated sense of how well I can speak at 3 in the morning. Please don't roast me for this next in a series of theatrical monologues of madness. I am but a humble human being with far too many heavy items in far too many heavy boxes, and a little black button with 5 little white words from a land down under.